Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you how you can make text bigger in individual apps on your iPhone. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now, people often have trouble reading text in apps on the iPhone. After all, it's a pretty small screen. The device needs to fit in your pocket. And different apps present text in different ways. Some of them have larger fonts, some smaller, some are more readable than others. And of course, there's the individual experience of how good your eyes are, whether you use reading glasses and such. If there's an app that's giving you particular trouble, you can usually adjust the text size, but it's not a setting in the app. It's actually a system setting on the iPhone. You can customize the size of text throughout the iPhone, but also for individual apps. Now, not all apps are going to follow this. Some apps, particularly games, may have text that's sized to fit inside the interface in a specific way. But a lot of apps, like social media apps, allow you to adjust the size. And this can make a big difference when using that app. And I do want to point out here that I'm using an early version of iOS 17 for this, but this works the same in iOS 16 and even iOS 15. So as an example here, let's go and use the Reminders app. And you can see here the size of the text. Let's say you want to make that bigger just for the Reminders app. Well, one way to do that is to go into Settings. And then in Settings, go to Accessibility. And from there, under Vision, go to Display and Text Size. Now, here's where you can set larger text and change the default text size for text on your iPhone. But what we want to do is change it for just one app. So go back out to the top level of accessibility and actually scroll to the very bottom. And here you're going to see Per App Settings and go into that. And now you're going to see Add App. You may also see some other apps here if you've already customized some settings. Let's add an app and then we're going to choose from the list here. I'm going to go down to Reminders and add that right there. Now I've added Reminders. I can select it and go in. Now I can go to larger text and in here I can increase the text size for Reminders. And it will give you an example here at the top. Now I can go back and notice I can change a bunch of other things here as well. For instance, I can change whether or not text is bolded, which also may make it easier to read. I can increase contrast and do various other things that may make it easier to read text. But for now I'm just going to stick to making text larger. Now I'm going to go back to the home screen and then go to Reminders and you can see there the text is much larger, easier to read. Now there's another way to do this. If you go into Settings and then you go to Control Center, I want you to look through the list and look for text size. Make sure that instead of it being down here under More Controls that it's actually added to the top so it's in Included Controls and you can see it right there. Now that I've got it there, I can go into an app like Reminders and once I'm there I can bring up Control Center. How you do that depends on which model of iPhone you've got, but most recent iPhones allow you to bring up Control Center by swiping down from the top right corner like that. And then you'll see here the text controls. Now you can go in and resize the text right here. But before you do that, notice at the bottom where you've got just the app that you're currently using or all apps. Make sure that's set right. So in this case I've got it set to just the Reminders app, which is what I want. If I add it over here, then it's going to change the default size. So let's just do it for Reminders and I'm going to set the text size something like that. And now when I tap to dismiss it, tap again to dismiss Control Center, it's changed the size of this one app. So it's easy to do that in other apps as well. Here I'll go into Notes and let's say I want to change the default size for Notes. I'll go into the text settings there. I'll go and make sure it's just for Notes and then I'm going to increase it a little bit and dismiss this. And notice it doesn't change right away, but as soon as I tap in the app, then it changes. And if you change the size using Control Center, it's actually changing the same setting. So if I go to the Settings app now and to Accessibility and then to the bottom to Per App Settings, you can see Notes now has an entry there and I can select it and see that indeed the text size has been set larger. The advantage of doing it in settings, of course, is you get access to all these other options, not just the size of the text. And the advantage of doing it in Control Center is you can do it quickly and easily without leaving the app. And of course you can set the default size in both Settings Accessibility like I showed before and also in Control Center. So if you find the text is too small in pretty much all apps, you can set your default to something bigger. And if that makes some text look really bad because of how text wraps or something, then you could always set a custom setting for that app to make it 100% or whatever you want. Note you can even do this for the home screen. So here's the normal home screen, but if I were to go bring up Control Center, change the text size and say home screen only, I can make the text much larger and then the home screen text now, the labels underneath the icons for instance, are bigger and easier to read. And as an example of a place where this works really well is in social media apps. So here for instance is Threads using the default size, and here is it with a larger size. And you can see it's easier to read, and it would be the same in different social media apps as well. So try it with whatever app you have where you find it difficult to read text. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.